Hello everyone, welcome back to Jen's Canada Journey. So starting from this video, I'm going to be recording a series of videos which I termed the Atlantic Canada Opportunity, and this is going to be about provinces in the Atlantic Canada and the opportunities that they have to offer. Like I mentioned in one of my videos, Canadian provinces are grouped into regions, and the Atlantic Canada region comprises of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland and Labrador, and of course New Brunswick. So for today's video, I'm going to be focusing on New Brunswick and all the opportunities it has for international students who studied in New Brunswick. So first of all the information I'm going to be sharing today can be found on the provincial website, which is welcomenb.ca, NB for New Brunswick. So welcomenb.ca. Now, if you go to the website, the very first caveat you will see is that they will tell you that all their provincial nomination pathways are dependent upon the allocations that they get from the federal. Because if you're familiar with Canadian immigration pathways, you will understand that the federal controls Canadian immigration, and each provinces are allocated a number of nominations that they have to give per year. So all their pathways are dependent on whatever allocation that they get from the federal. They are not allowed to exceed it. So New Brunswick, like I said, is one of the Atlantic provinces, and it has 7 immigration pathways for international people, and I'm going to give a rundown of all the pathways. Then I'll finally concentrate on the 2 that students can directly benefit from. So we have the New Brunswick Skilled Worker Stream, and this stream is for international graduates. By international graduates, I mean people that did not school in Canada, people that schooled outside of Canada, and they have some years of experience working in certain fields, and they are able to secure a job offer from a New Brunswick employer. So if you're an international graduate, whether you're living in Canada or you're living outside of Canada, and you have some years of experience and you are able to secure a job placement in that your field of experience, you are qualified to apply to this stream. Then the second one is the New Brunswick Express Entry stream. So this Express Entry stream is one of the streams that students can directly benefit from. So I'll leave it for later while I talk about the rest of the streams. The third one is the New Brunswick Business Immigration stream. So these are for people that are entrepreneurs. They want to start businesses in New Brunswick. It can be businesses that they have in their country of origin or wherever they're located right now. If they want to move that business to New Brunswick and the business qualifies, they can be nominated. Or it can be that they have business ideas and they have the money to start up such businesses in New Brunswick. So you need to go check it out if you're interested in this stream and see what it entails and check if you qualify for it. Then the fourth one is the New Brunswick Strategic Initiative stream for French-speaking immigrants. So if you're from a French-speaking country, or you can speak French and understand French and write in French on your own, you can check out this stream and see if you qualify to apply to it. Then the fifth one is the Atlantic Immigration Program. Now, like I mentioned earlier, New Brunswick is one of the Atlantic provinces, and all the Atlantic provinces are qualified for this Atlantic Immigration Program. So this also has to do with getting a job offer from an Atlantic employer. So if you're able to get a job offer and is a permanent job offer, not a seasonal offer or a temporary work, you may be qualified to apply to this stream. Then the sixth one is the New Brunswick Critical Worker Pilot. This also has to do with certain industries that they termed critical, that they need immediate intervention in terms of getting workers to come and work in those industries. So if you're in one of these industries and you're able to secure a job offer, You can also check if you qualify to apply to this stream. Then the 7th one is the private career college graduate pilot program. So this one is for students that schooled in colleges that are private colleges, and like I mentioned before, some schools are not qualified or are not eligible to provide postgraduate work permit programs. So if you fall into this category and your school cannot offer a postgraduate work permit and it's possibly a private college in New Brunswick, you may be qualified for this stream. So I'm going to be talking more in detail concerning this stream because it's one of the streams that students can also benefit from. So the very first stream that students can benefit from is the New Brunswick Express Entry stream. So this sort of works like the Express Entry for the federal, but they designed to benefit people that are looking to live and work in New Brunswick permanently. So it also has some eligibility criteria, and the very first eligibility criteria is the fact that you have to have a profile in the Federal Express Entry stream. So you have to be in the pool. You have to apply to the federal ircc.ca, ircc.ca. So you have to apply to them and be in the pool. You have to have a candidate profile in the Federal Express Entry pool. So that is the very first criteria. Then if you're familiar with this system, you also know that for you to be able to apply to the federal, you must be eligible for this three. You must be eligible under these 3 streams, either the Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Skilled Trades, or Canadian Experience. So you must be eligible for one of these to even be able to be in the Federal Express Entry pool. So which is one of the criteria for you to even think of applying to this stream. Then the second criteria is the fact that you must also meet New Brunswick eligibility criteria. So the way the federal has their own criteria, New Brunswick also has their own criteria. So you must meet the federal, then you come over to New Brunswick and also meet their criteria. And the 3 criteria they have is either you have a New Brunswick employment connection, which means that you have a job in New Brunswick, or you have a New Brunswick student connection, which means that you attended a federal school in New Brunswick, which is a school that is a DLI and can offer PGWP programs. Then the third one is that you're eligible for New Brunswick occupations in demand. So they have a list of their occupations in demand, depending on whatever occupations that employers are seeking for at any point in time. So this list keeps changing from time to time, but from what I know, skills in IT and skills in health are always there in that list. So each of these connections has their specific instruction on how to apply to them, and the very first thing you have to do if you meet any of these criteria is that you have to complete an expression of interest form. So there's a form that you have to fill. That form would determine if you are eligible, because they'll ask you all these questions, whether you're a graduated student or whether you have an employment connection or whether you have an occupations in demand connection. So when you fill this expression of interest form through their IMB portal, the IMB portal can also be found in welcomemb.ca, and once you fill it, you submit it. So they do their draws every month. So when you fill it, each of the requirements has like a grade point, similar to what you have in the Federal Express Entry. So whatever, like your language, your job, how many years of experience you have, and so many other factors. So each of those factors have like a weighted point, and at the end of the day, they will calculate the total, and you'll be in the pool, and they will do a draw. So of course, people with higher numbers will get called up before people that are with lower numbers. So what they do at the end of every month, they do a draw, and when they do a draw, they invite you to apply. So they send you an ITA to apply. So when you received an ITA, you have 45 days to submit your complete application. So all those things that you claimed in your expression of interest, now you have to submit an application with all your documentation. So you need to have your documentations ready. If you've written an IELTS or a self-paper exam, make sure that you have the results of that, the original results ready. If you have, if you said that you're a graduate, you need to have your proof of completion from your program and all of that. So they give you 45 days to submit an application, and when you submit an application, you may be nominated. So once you are nominated, you now get what they call the provincial nominee, you're a provincial nominee, and this will help you improve your chances very greatly in the Federal Express entry. So when they nominate you, you have 30 days to accept that nomination in your Federal Express entry profile. So I think I'm going to stop this video here. I'll make another video to talk about the last program, which is for the students that attend private colleges, because this video is actually getting very long. So all of these things that I've spoken about can be found, like I mentioned, on welcomemb.ca. And if there is something that is a bit confusing to you, you can also shoot me an email or drop your question in the comment section. All right, see you guys later in my next video. Bye bye.